Welcome back to LizSews and the next video in my Bra 101 series on constructing the Maya bra. We're really close to getting finished. All we need to do today is finish up with underwire channeling and the hook and eyes. Let's get started. Here's where we left the bra last time. So we finished up the bottom and top of the edges with our picot elastic. We've also done the initial insertion of our underwire channeling last time. So today we're actually going to finish the bra up. The first thing that I want to deal with is my underwire channeling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again align this edge with that stitching line as close as I can, except this time I'm going to sew from the inside of my bra, and I'm going to use a straight stitch and go as close as I can to this edge of the underwire channeling. And this will show from the front of the bra, so do make sure to go slowly. Make sure your bobbin is full of thread so that you don't have to rethread it and backstitch and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to go and sew as close as we can to the outermost edge of the channeling, and it's going to go through the channeling and through the bra itself. So just like I did when we initially put the channeling in, I have moved my needle over. This time I've moved it over to my right side so that I get really close to the edge of that channeling. So my underwire channeling is very close in that center edge, so I'm just going to sink my needle, pivot the bra around, and then start going again on that second channel. And this is what it looks like once you've stitched that edge in, and what it should now look like from the right side of the bra. So I'm going to go ahead and do a second line of top stitching, and this line I'm going to do as close as I can to where the cup attaches to the bra itself. I don't always do this second line of stitching, particularly if I'm using an underwire that has a really large tip, something like the Bra Builder's underwire. I might leave out the second pass of top stitching because it's a little bit difficult to get that to fit in the channeling otherwise. But for the wires that I'm using today, which just have the sort of standard tip, should be fine to do the second pass. So I'm just going to go, and this time I'm going to sew from the right side of the bra as close as I can to where that cup attaches to the cradle. And now we have the second line of top stitching in. So now I can just trim off any excess of that underwire channeling. I like it so it's just below the picot edge. Before I put my underwires in, I'm going to attach my straps here. I just find it's a little easier to do without that rigid wire in place. So if I'm looking at my bra, I want to make sure that I have the satiny side facing up, and then I want to sort of arc it over, still with the right side facing up. Make sure I have my ring available, and I am going to thread this extra elastic front to back through that ring. And the reason I like to put my adjustable portion of my strap on the front side of my bra is that way I am able to adjust it while I'm wearing it. So most commercial bras will have the adjustable portion on the back side of the bra, but I don't know about you. I always have to ask somebody to help, or I have to take the bra off. So I like having this on the front side of the bra just for ease of use. But if you find the hardware irritating, it's not something that I've ever encountered, you can always just flip it around and do it the reverse way. So once I have threaded that little tail of elastic through my ring, I'm going to take this over to my machine, and I'm going to sew with probably a straight stitch back and forth a couple times just to secure that into place. And that's what it looks like from the front, and I can go ahead and just snip off any extra back here. I've gone ahead and done that for both of the straps. Now I'm going to insert my underwire into the channeling itself. So when you're looking at underwires, a lot of times they have a colored end, and most often that color end is going to be what goes towards the center front or the bridge. So in my case, you can see these are green, and another way to tell that that's what's going to go towards the bridge is that's going to be the lower end of the wire, and it's going to stick up a little bit higher on the underarm edge. And this is typical of a day style or classic underwire. So I'm going to go to my edge of the underwire channeling, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the wire inside that tube itself, and just push it all the way in. Pushing. So ideally you should be able to feel it in here, and you want to make sure that you have a little bit extra on both sides. Remember, we built in that wire spring, and that feels good. And I can put my wire into the other side as well. So I'm putting it in the color side first because that's what I want to have touching the bridge. Okay, so all my wires into place there. So I can tack the edge of my underwire channeling just like we did with the straps here. I'm going to use a straight stitch. I'm going to go back and forth a couple times. You can also use a bar tack if that's something that your machine has. So, and now we have our underwires in. You can start seeing that structure and shape really take form. So the last thing that we have to do is put in our hook and eye tape. So if I'm looking at my bra like this, so I have my bra facing up, I want to go to the very edge of the right hand side, and that's going to be where my eyes attach to. So in the eyes that I am using, you can see here we have a little flap or envelope where the edge of the bra just neatly fits into it. So this is why I wanted to measure measure my width back here before I started put in this upper band elastic, because I wanted to make sure that it's going to work exactly. So I just slid that into that little envelope, and now I'm going to take it over to my machine, and so with a straight stitch, I'm going to back tack at the top, so to the bottom, and then back tack at the bottom. Here's what it looks like once those eyes are sewn into place. So now I'm going to flip around so I have the inside of the bra facing up. And I'm going to put my hooks so that my hooks are facing towards the inside of the bra. And just like we did on the last one, there should be a little envelope in there. And I just sort of shove the end inside, and I'm going to sew this with a straight stitch. Now on my machine, it is almost impossible to do a straight stitch using my walking foot because these little hooks will interfere. So I always switch over to just my standard foot, something like this, and I'm going to go straight stitch, and I'm going to go as far as I can. I'm going to move my needle as far as I can to this side of my straight stitch, and I find that I am pretty reliably able to get a stitch in there and be able to not have to go over those hooks. If your machine is set for a wider zigzag, let's say, like mine has a maximum width of 5 millimeters on my zigzag, maybe your machine goes to 7, if you have a higher scale machine, then the thing that I would recommend is switching over to your zipper foot, because your zigzag foot, your standard foot, won't be wide enough. So, or will be too wide, so it's going to interfere with those hooks. So you might want to switch over to a zipper foot. Again, make sure you've got your needle over as far as you can go, and then sew down here with a straight stitch.
So you can see I am just clearing my hooks over here, and I have my needle over as far as it will go.
And here we have the hooks attached. And you also just want to make sure that double check that you've attached them correctly and that the hooks do in fact meet the eyes. So now our bra can be finished. It's completely done. You can put it on. The last step, if you want to, and is completely optional, is of course putting on a little embellishment. So my kit came with a little matching pink bow. I would put it on with hand sewing. Now personally, I don't love hand sewing, so I hardly ever put my bows on my bras because I don't like to hand sew, but that is how I would do it if you are interested in putting your bow on there in the center front. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you've used this video to construct a bra, I'd love to see it. Be sure to tag me on Instagram at Liz_sews. Just because the Maya bra construction videos are over does not mean the end of Bra 101. In future episodes, we'll be looking at common fit alterations to get the best fit possible for your bra. So make sure to come back every week. I'll see you next time. Take care.